Welcome children to Geography with Juliana, and we are studying Standard 10 Geography Chapter 3 Physiography and Drainage. This is the 10th video on this chapter, and in the last video we completed the two drainage systems of India, namely the Himalayan drainage and the peninsular drainage. And today we are starting with the last part of the chapter, and that is the drainage of Brazil. The drainage of Brazil consists of three major river systems, mainly the Amazon River Basin, the Paraguay-Piranha River System, and the São Francisco River System. We will also be studying coastal river system or coastal rivers in the drainage of Brazil. So starting with the first one, and that is the Amazon River Basin. We have studied in the physiography that the northern part of Brazil comprises of low-lying plains formed by the river Amazon. Right? So before proceeding with the characteristics and the tributaries, etc., let us see where does this river actually originate. River Amazon originates in the Andes Mountains. So what you see here are Andes Mountains situated all along the western side or the western coast of South America. Okay, and part of this, if you see here, this area, okay, influences the rivers from here also flow eastward and they enter Brazil. And the region from where it originates, the country rather, is Peru. Okay, so from the Andes Mountains situated in Peru, from the eastern slopes, of course, okay, of these Andes, the river Amazon originates and then it flows eastwards. Okay, this is the source of river Amazon in the Andes Mountains. So what you see in the picture here is Andes. I would like to give you another picture here where it shows you the country from where it is originating. It's originating in the Andes, but in the part which is situated in Peru. Okay, later on, of course, this another tributary of Amazon was also discovered, and therefore Amazon, if you see from Peru flowing eastwards right through the end of Brazil, cutting across Brazil, is one of the largest rivers, and especially as far as water is concerned, okay, it carries copious amount of water. Then what you see here again is Peru. Okay, just to give you the clearer picture of the Andes Mountains situated all along the western border of South American continent. Then here you see the river Amazon consists of a huge catchment area. We had studied this. It is broader here when we study the northern plain. It is broader in the west and again in the east. It becomes narrower, however, because of the presence of highlands, that is the Guiana highlands in the north and the Brazilian highlands in the central and southern part. Okay, now this river carries almost 2 lakh cubic meter per second water. Okay, so it carries huge amount of water, and because of that, whatever load that it carries along, the load is not deposited here. Normally we find that most of the rivers deposit their sediments in the mouth and thus forming huge amount of distributaries or deltas. But there's a give reason here. Amazon does not form these deltas. Okay, because the water that is discharged from this river is almost 2 lakh meter cube per second. Okay, and with that much amount of water, the sediments that is carried along is thrown away into the North Atlantic Ocean, and so it does not get deposited here and it does not form deltas. On the other hand, instead of forming deltas at the mouth, okay, they form islands. Okay, we had studied Marajo Island, if you remember. Okay, so Marajo is one of the major islands here, but there are plenty of smaller islands that are formed. So what you see here is the mouth of river Amazon. This is wide, almost 150 kilometers wide. Okay, but Yet you do not find deltas here. Instead, you find a series of islands that are formed. The reason, as I told you, though it is a gentle area, though it carries large amount of sediments, the amount of water in the river is so much that it throws away the sediments into the Atlantic Ocean, forming islands instead of forming the deltas. Okay, so here again you see Marajo Island and the other smaller islands as well. On the way, now this river is very, very significant, okay, because it forms the area of the rainforest. In fact, these rainforests, next chapter will be studying vegetation, okay, after climate in the 5th chapter. So there we will understand the importance of these rainforests. These are called as the lungs of the world because they take most of the carbon dioxide and give us fresh oxygen. On the way, these rivers, the major Amazon river is joined by many tributaries. Okay, so this map, which is, I guess, on one of the pages, yeah, I think on page 20. Okay, yes, it's on page 20. There are quite, this map can be asked for map reading, where you will be asked to give the names of north flowing tributaries and south flowing tributaries of river Amazon. They may also ask you the right bank tributaries and the left bank tributaries. So for that we need to understand, when we talk about tributaries, we are looking to in the direction of the flow of the river at its mouth. We are looking at the mouth, not at the origin. Okay, and therefore as we stand facing the mouth of the river, okay, this becomes our left bank tributaries and these become our right bank tributaries. These become northward tributaries and these become southward tributaries. So looking at some of the southward or the left bank tributaries, we have we have Negro, we have Japura, we have any other Napo over here. Okay, these pronunciations are a little difficult and there's no need also. The major rivers that we are studying are Negro, Japura. Okay, and talking about the right bank rivers or the northward flowing rivers or northward tributaries, you have Juruwa here, you have Purus over here. Okay, if I shift it a little more, you'll find Purus here, Juruwa here, sorry. You have Juruwa, you have Purus, you have Madhira. Okay, so these are more of north flowing tributaries of river Amazon. Okay, so the river Amazon is navigable right from its source in the Andes right up to the mouth of this river. Okay, and therefore it is useful. Of course, this is highly inaccessible area and therefore not many people reside over here. The tribal people mostly reside here, but at the same time it is navigable from the starting, okay, all along its length. No doubt, being in the equatorial region as it rains heavily, okay, and also the adjoining area is covered by dense forests. Okay, so alligators and anacondas and various other types of snakes and creatures is not uncommon in this region. I wanted to show you two places that are situated at the coast of these rivers, or rather in the course of these rivers, because in the next chapter when we study climate, we will need to understand the location of these two places. One of them is Manaus, okay, which is very much in the center in the equatorial zone at the source of banks of river Amazon, okay, in its middle course of the river. And the second place that which will be referring to in the next chapter is Bailey, okay, MS silent, so Bailey and Manaus. These are two places which you will require when we study climate, and climate is very much related to the location where it is situated. So Manaus is situated in the interior but in the equatorial region. Bailey is situated on the coast, okay, the northern coast, and very close to, it's a coastal region, so influenced by the North Atlantic Ocean as well. Then we come to the second river system, and that is Paraguay Piranha river system. Okay, now here you find in the south and western part of Brazil. There's a give reason Brazil does not have many west flowing rivers. The reason is most of the rivers originate in the Brazilian highlands, and the Brazilian highlands slope northward and southward. As a result, there are many north flowing rivers, quite a few south flowing rivers as well, but very few westward flowing rivers. And Paraguay and Piranha are originating in these Brazilian highlands, more on the southwestern slopes of Brazilian highlands. So that's Piranha. Piranha River is important, okay, as it forms the Pantanal wetlands here. Okay, and on its way, Paraguay and Piranha meet, and then they flow as one river as Piranha into Argentina. I'll give you another picture here so that will make it a little more clear for you. Paraguay forming the Pantanal wetlands over here, Piranha joining it here, and ultimately they flow as Piranha and enters into Argentina. Okay, the third important river, okay, which is also situated in this region is we have Piranha, Paraguay, and I forgot to show you one more river here, the Uruguay River. Okay, now Uruguay River, this one here, is originating, if you remember, the southern slopes of the Brazilian highlands formed great escarpments here. Okay, and so the Uruguay River is originating from these great escarpments. You remember we had studied the great escarpments spread from Sao Paulo to Porto Alegre. Right, Porto Alegre is here, Sao Paulo is on the top somewhere, and these are the great escarpments. So Uruguay River is another and the only south flowing river. This can come as fill in the blanks then, because Uruguay is the only south flowing river. Okay, and it originates in these great escarpments. Initially it goes northward and then it takes a sharp turn southward, and then it enters into another country. Right, so these are three important west flowing and south flowing rivers of Brazil. And then we come to the last division. Okay, Uruguay here, just a minute, I'll just show you these great escarpments here and Uruguay River originating here, the only south flowing river. Paraguay is here, Piranha is here. So these three rivers are major south flowing or rather west and south flowing rivers. Then we come to the third important river system called as São Francisco. And if you remember somewhere on page 18 or 13, I don't remember now. Okay, we studied that the only major river to join the eastern coast of Brazil is São Francisco, meeting the South Atlantic Ocean. Okay, most of the rivers are flowing northward otherwise and meeting the northern coast, but São Francisco is a major river which flows and which initially flows northward. Okay, it is from the eastern slopes of these Brazilian highlands. Initially it flows northward, but then it does not continue its journey northward. It moves eastward. Okay, and then it joins the South Atlantic Ocean on the eastern coast of Brazil. So that's the only major river here. It is dammed at certain places, and these rivers are important because they influence the climate as well as the livelihood of the people residing here. So from this picture you'll be able to understand that São Francisco is a huge river with huge catchment area. And the last part is the coastal rivers. Okay, now coastal rivers, you know, Brazil is blessed with a huge coastline of 7,400 kilometers. Brazil has coastline in the north. Okay, so it has the northern coastline and it has the eastern coastline. And there are many rivers which are flowing northward. Okay, and because of the slope of these Brazilian highlands, most of the rivers are flowing northward, and they assume great importance because they influence the agricultural pattern and many people reside here. So the coastal areas are highly populated regions, and therefore these rivers assume great importance. Among the northern coastal rivers, there are two rivers that are mentioned in your textbook. Okay, and these are, one is river Itapequero and one is river Paraniba. Okay, the pronunciations you'll have to pardon me, okay, because I'm not very familiar with these pronunciations, though I tried to surf the net, but yet the pronunciations are a little difficult. So the north flowing rivers meeting the North Atlantic Ocean, there are two major ones, River Itapekeru and River Paraniba. These two rivers are north flowing rivers. Okay. Then we come to the only major river which flows on the eastern coast that we have already, we have talked about São Francisco, that's a major river. But there's another, okay, river which flows eastwards. Okay, and that is Piranha, I really don't know how to, Paraguaco. Okay, there are pronunciations and spellings are slightly different in different places, but the only coastal river which is mentioned in your textbooks, which is moving and joining the the eastern coast and joining the South Atlantic Ocean, that is given in your textbook, is Puruguaco. Okay, and I don't know whether I had taken a picture somewhere of Puruguaco. Yeah, this one I guess. Okay, the spellings are different because the pronunciation also, I'm sure, is very, very different. And that river, Puruguaco, joins the South Atlantic Ocean on the eastern coast at this place called Salvador. Okay, so with this we end the coastal rivers of Brazil. So we have studied three major rivers, that is River Amazon, then Paraguay-Piranha River, then we also studied the southernmost river, okay, and Uruguay, and then we studied São Francisco as the only eastern flowing river and the coastal rivers. Okay, so with this we end the drainage of Brazil. Now what we have here are the pictures of Amazon River and Ganga River. Okay, now when you compare these, they can ask you, there's a give reason in fact why the pollution of river Ganga is of so much significance and rather so much of botheration for us. Why should we bother about pollution of river Ganga while Amazon is not really polluted? Amazon is covered by dense evergreen forest, rainforest. They are highly inaccessible. Okay, so people cannot reside over here. Agriculture, industries cannot be practiced here. But on the other hand, this is the aerial view of river Amazon, okay, and river Ganga. What you see in the aerial view of river Ganga, you find that the place is completely, it's occupied by human beings, so it is highly urbanized. Okay, people are living on the coast here. It's highly urbanized. Moreover, it's considered as a sacred river, so people bathe into this river. Large amount of pollutants are thrown into this river. Okay, there are schemes of the government to clear up the river Ganga as well. Okay, so what measures are taken? You need to surf the net. We will discuss it in the question answers as well. There are many, you can say many measures taken by government to clear up river Ganga. So that we will discuss with the question answers. What you see here is the statue of Christ the Redeemer, which is included in the latest or new 7 wonders of the world. You can find out, surf the net and find out more information about this Christ the Redeemer statue. It is believed that the statue is getting darker as the years are passing by. The reason for it is definitely weather is taking a toll on it, but also the stones that were available in those days are not available now. So we get the blacker version of the stones here. You can surf the net. There are 11 facts about this statue of Christ the Redeemer in Brazil. One of your major activities in 10th standard is an activity, okay, a project where you can take any of these topics. Wherever I have said surf the net, you can take one of the topics. You can compare river Ganga, river Amazon. You can talk about this statue. There are plenty of topics that can be chosen for your activity. You are supposed to make a project of about 20 pages, okay, and with pictures, information and all that. So if you want detail, I will try and discuss about your activity later on. Okay, colors of both. We have not taken page 19 where you have to refer the map 3.1 and 3.2 and answer certain questions. So there are a few things that are asked over there to find information. Write a comparative note of river Amazon and river Ganga with reference to. Compare the two, not the statistics. Okay, that is given on page 19. They don't expect you to remember the statistics, but what you can find out is where do they originate, where does Ganga originate, we have discussed that, where does Amazon originate, what is the direction of their flow. By now you are surely capable of writing all these in your own. Where do they empty their waters, any deltas that are formed, state-wise its position in the world, size-wise its position in the world, plant life, animal life, bird life, reptiles, fish, etc. And you can also talk about urbanization, which is more common in river Ganga. Okay, then you have, on page number 19, you have a comparative account of the statistics of both the rivers Ganga and Amazon, which is not necessary for you, but I'll just go through it quickly. Total catchment area of Ganga and Amazon. Ganga occupies 10 lakh, I'll take approximately 10 lakh square kilometer area. That's for Ganga. But Amazon occupies 70 lakh kilometer area. Total length of Ganga in India 2,525 and total length of Amazon in Brazil 6,400 kilometers. Total discharge of water in river Ganga is 16,000 cubic meter per second, and Brazil it is 2 lakh cubic meters per second. So this gives us an idea of the amount of water that Amazon carries. And with this we end not only the drainage part of Brazil but also the entire chapter. Very soon I'll be uploading the question answers and the objectives. So keep looking out for my new videos. I upload almost every day. So till we meet again, bye bye, take care and God bless.